Wow, that got super rambly. Anyway.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're watching this video. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel. So today what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna test the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. So the old school Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion is what we're testing. I've always been skeptical. I always feel like the salespeople are always trying to sell you. These companies are always trying to sell you something, and they're trying to make you believe that you need it.
You need this eyeshadow palette, you need this primer, you need this face primer, you need this shadow primer, you need this lip moisturizer, you need this scrub before you put on the lipstick, you need this, you need this, you need this.
So they're always trying to sell you one thing after another because obviously they need to make a profit to stay in business. And that's just the way it goes, you know? So I'm always very skeptical about like what I actually need. And I've said this many times on my channel before. Let's face it, none of us need makeup. And for me, it makes me feel better about myself, and I feel this sense of confidence when I have it on versus when I don't. So I know it shouldn't be that way, but it just is. And that's me being real. So primer was definitely one of those products that I was just never sold on until I started using this primer potion from Urban Decay. This is actually the primer that made me believe in primers. This is a sampler. The original was like my ride or die for a long time, and then I ran out of it, and I don't know, I just never repurchased. But I also never repurchased any eyeshadow primer, period. So I don't know, I started wondering, like, was it mental? Because it's not like I started using it because I was sold on it. I think someone gave me like a small amount of the one they had left, and I was like, oh my God, this thing works. And then I ran out of it and I wanted to repurchase, and I just never did. And then I kind of forgot how good it was. And then recently I've been thinking, but is it, or did I just think it was really good? But it's really like, it doesn't make a big difference. So today what I'm gonna do is I'm going to test it for real because I've never done that before. So what I did is I went ahead and applied the primer just to my right eye, not to my left, just to the right. So I just got done doing this. It is 2:24 p.m. and I'll try to keep this on probably till 9 p.m. or so. So it has plenty of time to kind of wear it and see how it goes for the next 6 hours or so. First off, I'd like to tell you that immediately the differences I see, look at this, and you can be the judge of what I'm seeing and tell me if you think I'm right or wrong. But from the eyeshadow primer part, what I did notice is that it made everything more vibrant. So the dark brown is showing up darker. The blending color is showing up its true like warm brown color. And basically all the shades on the eye with primer, which is again the right eye, they're a little bit more vibrant. But ironically, they look a little less blended. So with the primer, I feel like I had to blend more, but I think had I just used less product, it would have been great. So again, if you're trying to conserve your favorite shadows, using a primer like this one would make that happen because you use less product and get just as much intensity as you would without the primer. So that is how I'm feeling so far. So the one with the primer is a lot more vibrant and the colors stayed exactly where I put them. So the blending did take a bit longer because I wanted to move it around and make it blend better. But the one without the primer I still think looks good. It's just not as vibrant, and it looks, ironically, I think a little bit more blended because they faded into each other a little bit more, the colors did. I'm only wearing 3 colors on each side. I kept it really basic and simple. The palette that I did this look with is the BH Cosmetics Ultimate Matte Palette from BH Cosmetics. So I wanted to use kind of a lower end shadow palette because I really wanted to show off what the primer could do. Because the great thing about you know, drugstore or less expensive eyeshadow palette is the fact that you're paying less money for it. And with this one, I know it works really well in general, but it does fade over time, just like a lot of less quality eyeshadows will do. So my biggest experiment in this, I want to see if the primer makes the eyeshadows last longer, stay on the lid more vibrantly and last longer than without the primer. And to me, that is a true test of if a primer is worth it or not. So it's not so much everything beforehand, it's is it going to conserve the lifeline of these shadows? Are the shadows gonna stay in place longer? Are they gonna stay more vibrant longer? And if so, for how much longer? So that is what we're testing today. So I'll go ahead and check in a few hours, and then I'll do another check-in before bed, and we will compare from the original picture to the next two check-ins. All right, guys, let's do this. Hey, it's time for the first check-in. So let's see, I think it was like 2:30, 2:45, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's been about 4 hours since I put the shadows on. And again, this side, the right side, is my right, your left, is the one I use the primer on. And then the left side, there is no primer used, it's regular. So my left, your right. Let me zoom you guys in. All right. So no primer, primer. No primer, primer. I should have checked this before zooming you guys in and doing this, shouldn't I? Okay, so let me check this out in a mirror. Hang on one second here. Wow. I'm not gonna lie. Wow, that's actually a really big difference. I feel like the left eye, my left, your right, has really faded out compared to the right. The right eye is not as vibrant as it was 4 hours ago, but it's still very much there and it is still very much in place. Where this eye looks like it's kind of just brown and then a little glob of yellow. Like you can't really see the transitions, you can't see the layers. It kind of just went into like kind of brown and then yellow. Where this, you can still see that I left some lightness, some darkness, a transition color, and the yellow. So you can still see the work I did on this eye, where on this eye, to be honest, the work is basically gone. You can just kind of see that it was like brown shadow with a yellow inside corner. So basically, this is 4 hours in, guys, and I was gonna say I don't really need to do a final check-in. Clearly we see what's happening, but I am curious to see how it will look in, 3 more hours. Will my left eye just be completely gone? That sounded weird, but you know what I mean. The shadows on my left eye be completely gone. Will my right eye fade more? Will it stay this way? Is this kind of what it's gonna be like the rest of the time? I actually am curious to get to the end of this and see how it turned out at the very end of the night. So I will do one last final check-in. I will see you guys then. All right. Hi guys. So this is the final check-in. It is 10:21 p.m. So this has been on for a while, and this is what we're looking like. All right, so right away you can tell the non-primer eye, it's basically gone. I mean, you see a little bit of yellow to like brown transitioning, but on the primer eye, it's still looking really good. I would say, you know, from 100, it's looking at 80. So that's really good. So basically, I guess my conclusion is that that Urban Decay Primer Potion, the original, is 100% worth it. And it does make a really big difference when it comes to the lasting power of your shadows. So if you've ever been on the fence, eyeshadow primer worth it? Yes or no? My conclusion is that yeah, it's totally worth it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, remember to spread love, not hate, and mwah, thank you guys for your support. Remember to subscribe. Remember to share this with anyone you think that'll enjoy it. And remember to hit your notification bells so you're notified when I post. I don't post that often, so it won't get annoying. Thank you guys so much. Good night.